Apple have just announced their new iPad Pro with the new M5 chip. Apple claims it's a huge leap in performance, especially for AI, graphics, multitasking, and connectivity. But is this the one that you should upgrade to, or just admire? Let's dig in. Hi Tailoring Talkers, welcome back to the channel. To support us for free, please drop a like, hit subscribe, and also you can now hype the video. Just look at the button below your video window. And if you want to support the channel even more, please do check out our new channel memberships. So the new iPad Pro, which at a glance looks familiar, sleek, thin, gorgeous, and that's because it's exactly the same chassis as the M4 iPad Pro that debuted in 2024. Again, it's available in either 11 or 13 inch and in a choice of either space black or silver. The display is still a standout Ultra Retina XDR with dual OLED tandem technology, excellent brightness, contrast, and optional nano texture for glare control. It's also impressively thin. The 11-inch iPad Pro is just 5.3 millimeters thick, and the 13-inch is even thinner. The thinnest device that Apple has ever made. Yes, even thinner than the original iPod Nano. So what is new is mostly inside the new iPad, and that's where M5 comes in. So here are the key claims from Apple. M5 brings up to 3.5 times faster AI performance than the M4 iPad Pro, and compared to the older M1 iPad Pro, which I believe was from somewhere around 2020, Apple claims you'll see a 5.6 times jump in AI tasks. The GPU is upgraded, so now the architecture has GPU cores which each have their own neural accelerator. So for 3D work and rendering, Apple claims up to 1.5 times faster ray tracing performance compared to the M4 and 6.7 times faster compared to the original M1 models. Video processing is claimed to be 6 times faster when transcoding video in Final Cut Pro, and that's versus the M1 iPad. And there are storage and memory improvements. Unified memory bandwidth of 150 gigabits per second, which is about 30% higher than that on the M4 iPad Pro. And the 256 and 512 gig storage models now come with 12 gigabytes of unified memory. And we have some connectivity boosts. The M5 iPad Pro now houses the new networking chip, the N1, which now enables Wi-Fi 7. So if you have access to Wi-Fi 7, which let's face it, most people won't at the moment, but you will get better connection speeds. The cellular versions of the new iPad Pro use Apple's new C1X modem with up to 50% better cellular performance than previous versions. The new iPad Pro can now support up to 2 external displays up to 120 Hz refresh rate each, and also has adaptive sync support to reduce lag. And you'll get the benefits of this when combined with iPad OS 26, which adds a refresh windowing system, better multitasking, and a new menu bar, a reworked Files app, preview for iPad, and a whole host of other features that make the iPad a much more viable option as a workhorse type computer than ever before. Pricing looks to be the same as last year, with the 11-inch iPad Pro Wi-Fi only starting at $999, and then you'll pay an extra £200 to get the cellular option. And the 13-inch iPad Pro starts at $1299 Wi-Fi only and $1499 for Wi-Fi and cellular. You have 4 storage options this year, 256 gig going up to 512, 1 terabyte and 2 terabytes. So those are Apple's claims. Now, what do they mean for you? Let's make this as easy to understand as possible. If Apple's claims hold up, you might see big gains when using apps that depend on AI, image generation, video masking, smart effects, etc. For creators doing 3D rendering, AR/3D previewing, that improved GPU combined with the ray tracing architecture means smoother previews and faster renders. Video editors may notice shorter export times, so that means less waiting around. In terms of multitasking and responsiveness, with more memory, more bandwidth, and faster storage, switching between apps should feel far more snappier. Apps will open faster, files will load quicker, and so overall you'll just have smaller delays in your creative workflow. You'll have better external displays and the ability to enhance your studio setup. The ability to drive a 120Hz monitor means you'll be able to use iPad Pro as a serious workstation for graphic design, illustration, or video editing on a big screen without any lag. Wi-Fi 7 support, when you eventually are able to upgrade to Wi-Fi 7 modems and routers, will give you more stable and faster wireless networking than ever before. Important when uploading big files or working wirelessly on large projects. If you use cellular, 50% faster data can be meaningful when you're working from cafes, abroad, on location, and wherever else you might be where you don't have access to a Wi-Fi network. And you get all these performance gains without sacrificing the thinness of the device. And believe me, it is very thin. If you've never held an M4 iPad Pro in your hand, I suggest you go grab one from anywhere and just feel it. It feels absolutely wonderful. And that form factor makes even the 13-inch version of the iPad Pro highly portable. And let's not forget the gorgeous display, made even better in my personal experience and from my own use if you opt for the nano texture display. I'm actually really glad that Apple hasn't reinvented the look, because the M4 iPad Pro design was absolutely perfect. So, who might want the new M5 iPad Pro and who might wait? If you're a pro power user or creative and you're doing serious creative work, 3D, augmented reality, high-end video editing, multi-app complex workflows, this could be a big upgrade. If you're someone who uses AI-based tools locally, for example, image AI and on-device enhancements, then you might benefit a lot. If you use iPad Pro in a setup with external displays rather than using a MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, or Mac Pro, this makes the iPad Pro more viable as your main computer. Coming on to prosumers and tech enthusiasts, if you like pushing your tools, playing with new features, doing heavier editing, the M5 iPad Pro will definitely give you more headroom. Even if you don't max it out, you get breathing space for future workflows. And not forgetting everyday light users. If your iPad is mostly for browsing, reading, streaming video, a little bit of gaming, documents, etc., you'll absolutely love the speed. But the gains won't feel dramatic over a more recent iPad like the M2, M3, M4. Speaking of which, for those already on the M4 or the M3 or even the M2 iPad Pros, the jump will be less noticeable for everyday usage. So, should you upgrade? My honest opinion, if you've got an M4 iPad Pro or a recent equivalent like the M3 iPad Air or Pro, this is going to feel like an incremental upgrade. Nice, but not in any way transformational. If you're on a much older iPad Pro like the M1 or earlier, this will feel like a huge leap. And if your workflows are heavy, 3D, AI, etc., then this is the iPad to go for. Or see if you can find an M4 iPad Pro on a deal now that the new model is coming. Because believe you me, I have the M4 iPad Pro. I use it for absolutely everything, every single day. And it cuts through even the hardest of tasks like a hot knife through butter. If your usage is light and you don't push your device very often, then I would just wait. Or maybe consider one of the new iPad Airs, which will inevitably be arriving next spring. So some final notes and some caveats, because again, this device is not out in the wild and no one's tested it yet. We don't yet know exactly how Apple's claims will stack up. And apples to apples, real world workloads might narrow some of the claimed gains. iPad OS 26's new features will help that power feel more usable and not just theoretical. Always consider what you do with your iPad. If your tasks are light, your existing iPad is probably going to serve you very well for a little while longer. Also, check the storage and memory options that you go for. If you're a heavy user, these are going to be very, very important, and the 1TB and 2TB models carry a bit more RAM than the 256 and the 512 gig models, which is why I went for a 1TB iPad Pro. And when considering the iPad as an overall package and trying to work out your budget, you also need to think about things like the Magic Keyboard, the Apple Pencil Pro. Not necessary, but if you want to bring the iPad closer to an all-round creative tool, and maybe even have it as a creative replacement for a MacBook, for example, then they are quite important things to have, and you need to budget that a little bit more for them. So the iPad Pro with the M5 chip is shaping up to be a serious device. Apple is claiming big bumps across the board in AI, graphics, storage, and connectivity. But the real question is, does any of that really matter to you? If you push your iPad hard, this could be a meaningful upgrade. But if you don't, it is just a luxury. Are you thinking about upgrading to the M5 iPad Pro? Let us know in the comments, and as always, share your iPad experiences with the rest of the community. It really helps people to learn from other users when they're trying to make decisions on what to do with their technology, especially when there's a new announcement like these M5 announcements this past week. And as ever, don't forget to support the channel by liking, subscribing, hitting that hype button and giving us some hype points. You'll find that just below the video window. And also check out our channel memberships to further support the show. We appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.